Go for it.
What's up, guys? Joey Manchego here at Simple Homes. I'm the plant manager. What we do here is we are a subcomponent manufacturer, anything from single family, residential, ADUs, and a ton of multifamily. Lately, we've been sticking more with the multifamily market. That's really seemed to help us. From a manufacturing perspective, that's really where we want to be, is we want to be in those multifamily markets. However, we do a lot of single family, like I mentioned, and a lot of ADUs as well. This board right here represents how many linear foot the guys are doing per hour, per day. And so the goal for exterior wall, which includes exterior and then shear panels, that's between 45 to 55 linear feet per hour per line. For interior, it's obviously more than that. We're shooting for 70 to 80 linear feet per line. Obviously all depending on complexity of the wall. So right here, today we've been focusing all on interior wall panels. So right now we're close to 500 linear feet from the day. No interior wall today, and then no floor panels are built today. We are building stairs today, but we're not tracking the stairs for the day. Alrighty, so everything starts with our saw here. It's called an Estaframe saw, recently purchased from Simpson. And so on there, our A&E team releases files from the saw, and then our sawyer is able to pick that file and choose whatever project you're running. He picks either EP, IP, or shear panel, and then from there, he's cutting it, and then you can see that the saw is doing the complete layout of the entire wall. And so you have your stud locations, you have your panel number, so this is IP3-37. It has the location of where it's going, and then you have your top plate, bottom plate, so BP for bottom plate, and then yeah, it's cutting all of your horizontal, and then your non-standard stud lengths as well. Push the board until where you have your saw. He's gonna cut it, and then you'll hit the finish button. When the board is being pushed over, that is when the print is actually going on the board. Give it 1 second here. Setting it up, hitting the pusher, going. Boom. And he's gonna make it cut. As he pushes it, the ink is going on the board. And there you have it. So IP3-72, that's the top plate, and then you have the bottom plate.
And obviously, it's hard to see because of how fast it is, but where's the printing actually happening on this?
Yeah, if you come a little closer, you have your ink here, and then you have your printer, and it's coming from right in here.
So as he's sliding it in that quick of a motion, it's putting all this information to insane accuracy on the boards.
Yep.
And then this goes straight to the framers from here?
Yep, exactly. So from here, it's going to go on these, on our carts here. The carts are going to be in queue, and then from there, you're going to go to the subcomponent, and we can walk over there. Our subcomponent guys do anything from the rough opening to L's, to the stud packs, anything like that. He's going to be framing that here. So by the time it gets to the framing table, the framers are taking the bottom plate, top plate, putting in the right location for all the stud packs and the L's, and just putting in your studs, nailing it off, and it's good to go. So by the time it gets to our framing table, the framers are just putting on top plate, bottom plate, studs, and any miscellaneous blocking that needs to be added into the board.
So these are all components that he's built already?
Subcomponents that were built by our subcomponent guy.
And then he's got the plans for each wall tacked on them so they know where they go?
Exactly.
That's awesome.
nice thing about this table, it's a squaring table as well. So when we're doing any sheathed walls, exterior tables, we're using the table to square the wall before they tack on the roof. Yeah, so right now, throughout the day, we were doing exterior wall. Right now, we've transitioned over to interior wall. If we were doing sheathed walls, the framers would tack on the sheathing here, it would get pushed over, and then we would be doing the nailing pattern all right here. And so we'd have a guy, two guys doing the nailing of the sheathing. And then we move down to our panel building station. We're using the crane to pick up the walls and putting it in the correct bundle it goes to.
Sweet. So that's a full line, and it looks like you've got how many lines running walls at a time?
So we got 2 walls running at a time. Both walls can do both exterior and interior walls. If we are doing floors, our floor line's back there. Right now we're doing stairs, so we can take a quick look at our stair production.
Yep.
So over here, we typically do open stringers. For this specific project, they're requiring closed stringers. So that's what we're doing. We're building some closed stringers over here.
And these are cut. These are basically built just like they are on site. You're just building them in a shop.
Cut by hand. Nothing cool or fancy about this stuff.
Well, I think in my eyes that makes it cooler. But all right, so we checked out the shop. We kind of saw their processes. A lot of guys talk about how panelizing or production shop framing like this is hurting the trades because it's putting guys out of work. And honestly, if you ask me, I think these guys are still stick framers. They're just building under a roof. I actually would like to one day have a shop like this that we can work in during the winter, so it's just better quality of life for us as carpenters. But either way, there's a lot of things that can't be built in a shop, so we certainly don't have to worry about it being completely gone for those who aren't in favor. But I've gotten to see how fast these guys are. It's really pretty incredible how fast they can put a wall together. And something I wanted to do just for the fun of it was a race. So we're gonna watch them build a wall. We're gonna time it step by step. We'll try to keep it as fair as possible. They've got some automated systems with the saw and the layout that they're gonna use. And I'm not using any automated stuff. I'm just gonna pull pencil and tape, plain and simple, regular nail gun, regular saw. And we'll see how I stack up against them building the same exact wall. And if I lose, because I haven't done this yet, I'm going to come back with Landon and then we'll try again. And then I think I could beat him. But on my own, I'm not so sure. And another thing to notice, they've already built their wall. I've already filmed that at this point. You haven't seen it yet. But these guys aren't breaking a sweat. If you watch them, this is a very consistent and repeatable process. And that's where the efficiency comes from. So even if I do end up surprising myself and going pretty quick, pay attention to my breathing at the very least. I'm going to be tired and I'm going to be pushing myself as hard as I possibly can because I really want to see how I stack up. But I couldn't keep up with them on a full day no matter what. Just to say that. So anyways, let's see how this goes. All right, well, here goes. These guys are really fast, so I'm actually really nervous. But I guess we'll call this the start. So let's go. 12 on center, 4 foot 4 3/4, 7 foot 6 3/4. That 41 was my header. see if that's long enough. Not quite. Pretty sure that's scrap. Got 3 minutes. Is it plywood first? That there. Start this channel. Come on now, baby.
feel like they're going faster than what they could go.
It's good.
Yeah.
I want to see, because I'm going to be going faster than I normally would too. So I want to. That's what I want it to be fair. That's it? Beautiful. All right, block time. 2 11 5/8, 5 foot 9 3/4. Thank you, sir. There we go.
Good job, man. You're good.
Sheesh. I'm so nervous. Jeez Louise. Way faster.
Want me to hit stop or?
Yeah, that's good. All right, well, I am heading home now that my ego is destroyed because those guys smoked me. Granted, there's technically more of them working on it at a time, and they obviously have better equipment, but I'm pretty prideful, as you all know, so I really thought I would hold my own better than that. But that was a really cool experience. I will say, my mindset in the past, and not as much as some other carpenters, but has been that framing prefab is killing carpentry, quote unquote. And I will tell you right now that after seeing it firsthand, it's really not. It's just making carpentry a more comfortable job to have. Because all those guys in there, they're framers through and through. And they're not less than a normal framer because they're working in the shop. And actually what I like about these guys, they frame in the shop, and then the same company, like these guys, also install panels. So sometimes the guys interchange where they'll go on site and they'll actually install the panels as well, which I think is cool. So it's not like these guys aren't seeing the deck, you know? But really, it was just awesome. I mean, that saw with the layout is mind-boggling to me. I mean, how quick the guy cutting the Sawyer, they were calling him, he had plates cut, laid out. He had all blocks, studs, cripples, header, everything cut in 180 seconds, and it's all perfect because it's a robot technically. You know, it's managed by software, and it's just perfect. So that really was just awesome. I was really impressed by that. And literally one chop saw is feeding that whole place. All the plates for that thing are cut. And if they are stepping up their production to where they need to keep up with more than just the chop saw will switch to only cutting plates, and then they'll start cutting all their studs, cripples, and other members by hand like a normal framer would, or like you'd normally see on a framing site. I also should emphasize, there's panel shops that are more automated than this. These guys are still using nail guns, they're wearing bags, they're doing framing. They're just doing it in the shop on these tables with systems in place to make things more efficient. There are shops that are doing this that have like automated nail guns and things like that do simplify it even more. And that's cool as well. I think what's nice about that is it simplifies things and it makes it cheaper. And I'm not really against that. I think that obviously that does take away jobs from carpenters, quote unquote. Because even then, I think then the person that's running the machine is less of a carpenter than these guys. But what I do think is important is, I don't know, I don't think any person who really appreciates an industry should ever be afraid of innovation. Larry Hahn, back in the day, anyone watching my channel probably knows and loves Larry Hahn. Back in the day, carpenters hated him because he was basically over industrializing the process. Not industrializing, but he was making it so efficient that it was putting people out of work. And unfortunately, that's the reality, is that efficiency puts people out of work because it takes less people to do the same amount of work. And yeah, that might hurt every now and then as far as the economy goes, but ultimately I think it's helpful because the reason Larry Hahn did that was to make houses cheap for people to get into that needed homes. And obviously we all know homes are super expensive right now, depending on where you want to live. Here in Colorado, they're expensive. But things like panelized shops and production framing and things that put these systems into place, whoa, you're not going nowhere, not if I can help it. That is making housing more accessible and more affordable, and that mindset excites me. And like I said earlier while I was in the lot, no matter how much panelization continues in the production framing market, it's not gonna take over custom framing, and certainly not on the level that certainly not to the level that a framer will become obsolete. Because even if an entire custom home, some of the houses that I built became panelized, it could not all be built with an automated nail gun. It would literally be carpenters building it in a shop, in a in an organized and dialed in environment, but it would still be framers building it, because a hand cut roof, you can't have a robot cut, nail, and assemble that. You can't have that cut and figure hip and valley trusses and all this stuff. You might be able to figure out the math, but you can't make a robot that can assemble that perfectly. And that's kind of the beauty of it, is people are saying it's killing the craftsmanship. I think it's killing the monotony of it, if you ask me, because it's leaving only the more skilled and the more technical parts of the industry to the professionals, or rather to the craftsmen. And I don't think that's something people need to be afraid of. Yeah, there's a lot of guys whose jobs are to build the same thing over and over and over again, and I think that's okay. But industrializing that and making that more efficient is not something we should be afraid of. It's something that's going to help the world. I think it's a big part in the next step of the framing industry, and I'm not afraid of it. Like I said earlier as well, I would like to someday be able to have a panel shop of my own, because in Colorado we have mixed weather conditions. I would love to be able to frame indoors on days that it's bad weather, stack up a bunch of walls and get ready for a good day when the sun comes out, and we can go build a house in 2 days because we worked ahead in a shop. Not to mention we had a great time doing it because we're in a better scenario. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm definitely coming back with Landon to do another one. We're going to build an exterior wall, and me and him are going to smoke them, I think. I think together we'll beat them. Obviously me versus 5 guys on assembly line is not fair, quote unquote, but I wanted to really just show, like, typically in building a house, you'll have one guy doing it, as opposed to this situation. You have, how the assembly line works is you have multiple guys building multiple walls at once. So they kind of fine-tuned it so for the sake of tracking time, where they were only building one wall at a time. But the reality is, in another 2 or 3 minutes, they would have had an additional wall done. So this is the start to finish process, but for time tracking purposes, their efficiency is still even higher. Not to mention, I can't keep the pace I was doing all day, which maybe is embarrassing because I certainly wasn't going at an insane speed, but I wanted to try to be realistic. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Simple Homes is the name of that company. They're really cool people. Joey is awesome, and they've got great crew. The guys were a lot of fun to hang out with and watch them work. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.